everyone, it's Jeanette, and I am here with the wonderful Maggie. And we were actually just talking about that we both feel more hydrated or dehydrated than usual. We're used to drinking a lot of water, teaching cycle bar, teaching yoga, hot yoga, warm yoga. So just a reminder out there, everybody, drink your water. Like you're not even realizing we're just sitting around and
hydrated.
Yes, for sure. So with that, Maggie is going to start us in yoga.
So we have a 45-minute practice today, and we are going to focus on yoga for athletes primarily. And I say that, and everyone kind of tunes out for the most part if I'm not an athlete. But really, what it is
I'm not an athlete.
Listen, we're all athletes in our own right? Even if your sport right now is binge watching Netflix. To be fair. This is all really just to help lengthen, strengthen, and really release a lot of tension in areas that athletes in particular might have a little bit of issues relating to maybe shoulder, upper body, hips, and just lengthening out through the legs. We're going to get a nice balanced, quick 45-minute practice in. So it's going to feel really awesome.
Excited.
We will start seated today. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. We find our easy seat. Take as much time here as you need to really settle in, readjust if you need to move anything out of the way. Find that place where both sit bones are rooted evenly. Your shoulders land over the hips and your ears are over shoulders. Allow the eyes to close and the face to soften here, releasing any tension from the jaw. An option to keep palms facing the sky or planting the hands on top of the legs, whatever feels best to you today. We take a few deep breaths, noticing how we showed up today on our mats in our bodies. Notice if we feel any tightness, any tension or gripping anywhere as we take a brief body scan. And then we bring awareness to the breath, noticing that we inhale and exhale evenly. It's a slight modification of the breath that we will be using throughout practice today. Finding that steady, even in and out. When you feel connected to that even breathing, we set a dedication or intention before we begin to bring movement into the body. What are you working with on your mat or off? And when you feel rooted in that dedication, we'll seal it all together with a collective deep inhale here. And exhale out through the mouth. Fluttering the eyes open here, maybe shaking it out. We bring movement into the spine by bringing hands to the shins. On our inhale, we draw the heart forward. On our exhale, rounding through the shoulders, belly button to spine, bring it back. A nice seated cat and cow variation. Inhale forward, really exaggerating the movement here. Exhale, rounding, letting chin come to chest. Inhale forward. So allow yourself to roll around on the sit bones here, right? Belly button to spine, really rounding through the back. Again, exaggerating as we wake up through the spine. One more round. Deep inhale. And exhale. We come back to our comfortable seat. And then we switch position of the feet for posterity's sake here. Again, if you need to wiggle around, find that even rooting through the sit bones as opposite moves forward, do so now. We're gonna take the same thing. This time we just add a circular movement with the spine. Again, waking up through the center body here. Inhale forward. And then we draw ourselves over to the right. So make these as big and expansive as you can to start. Again, let yourself roll around on your sit bones. It's okay if you start to lift side to side. Allow the neck and head to be involved here. It's okay, it might look silly, but it feels really good. One more round to the right. And then we land back center. We take it to the left. Again, just warming up the spine here, keeping the core engaged to really fire up all of those digestive organs, massaging, again, through the center of the body. One more round. And then we come back to center, we pause. Moving side to side, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Fingers are really active here, reaching towards the sky. On exhale, right hand plants, we reach up with the left arm. Option to keep the right arm rooted, or if you want to take it a little further, start to walk the fingertips over to the right. Press into those fingertips, draw the left sit bones down, maybe take your gaze to the sky. We exhale, sweep it around, take the same thing left side. Reaching up with that right arm. Again, fingers are really active here, feeling the opening through the side body. If you want to take it deeper, start to walk the left hand over, press down through the fingertips. We come back to center. From here, roll the shoulders away from the ears once more. 3 big shoulder rolls. And then we take the other direction. So we're going to continue with this. We're just going to make the move a little bigger. After our 3rd shoulder roll, we're going to bring fingertips to the shoulders. From here, open the arms out wide. Feel the back engage, belly button to spine. We're going to draw elbows together. So this might be difficult, right? If we have a lot of tension through the upper back, our elbows may not touch here. That's okay. It's that drawing in, bringing everything together. We're going to draw a straight line down with the elbows, trying to move only from the upper back. On your exhale, send it low. Inhale, elbows open, we make a circle. Exhale, draw it low. Inhale, open all the way up, elbows to the sky. One more round. Inhale, lift. And then next time we land center, we're going to switch the direction here. So on our inhale, we draw that line straight up. Exhale, circle. Inhale, lift. Exhale, circle. One more round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, circle. Bring the elbows together. We land right back at center where we started. Notice, is your belly button still glued to the spine? Open out the elbows here. As if you're trying to draw the shoulder blades to touch on the back hand, we draw the elbows back in space. Breathe deep. Steady drawing back, one more round. Exhale, release the hands down. Shake it out here. We're moving into a little bit of a neck stretch here, so draw right ear to right shoulder. So this might be enough sensation here. You might feel this all the way down through the neck and the traps. If you want more sensation, really flex through that left hand, start to draw the hand away from the body. Option to press into the fingertips. Maybe you feel it all the way up through the forearms, all the way up through the biceps. Inhale, back center. We're going to take the same thing, other side. So it's a drawing of that ear over to the left shoulder. And then pressing away with our right fingertips to start really long through that arm. And then if you want a little more activation, really press the fingers into the floor here. Feel it open up through the biceps, the triceps, maybe even all the way into the palm. On the next breath, we roll it back to center. Maybe 3 more shoulder rolls, one last round. And then we take the opposite direction. Drawing them forward, really waking up the upper body today. After your third round, hinge forward from the hips, walk the hands forward, find your forward fold. Allow the head to hang heavy, feel the spreading across the shoulder blades, maybe rock side to side. And then really gripping through the fingertips, we roll onto hands and knees. So we're moving into our tabletop position, finding a little bit of length again through the upper body. We're gonna take a twist here, sweep the right arm up by our side. Exhale, send that right arm underneath the left. Option to keep the left hand where it is or draw the left hand out in front of you. Press into those fingers to draw the hips back in space. We keep the hips lifted, making sure they're landing right over our knees. One more deep breath here. On the exhale, walk the left hand underneath the shoulder. Inhale, sweep that right arm up one last time. Plant the right hand down. Inhale, left arm sweeps up by our side. Find that twist, that opening. Exhale, take it to the other side. Draw the right arm out in front. Again, press into those fingertips to send the hips back. As if we're creating length through the spine. Deep inhale here. Exhale, plants the right hand underneath the right shoulder. Sweep it up, moving into that twist once more on the left side. We draw ourselves down back into tabletop. So we're moving into a little bit of a tricep stretch here. We walk the hands out about 6 inches in front of us. As we do, press into the hands, sit it back into child's pose. Enjoy the length through the spine here. We move into a flowing sequence. On our next inhale, we roll all the way up, pausing when shoulders land over wrists. Eyes at the elbows forward. On exhale, we send the heart and chest forward. Inhale, press into the hands to rise back up. Exhale, round down back into child's pose. Moving a little bit quicker with the breath, second round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, heart lowers. Inhale, lift. Exhale, send it back. One more round. Inhale, round to rise. Exhale, heart forward. Inhale to lift. Exhale, sends us back. One more time, we roll back up into our tabletop here, keeping the knees directly under the hips. We're gonna walk the hands out a little further, moving into puppy pose. So we just start to walk the hands. Again, hips stay rooted where they are as the heart moves forward. Once more, we're opening up through the chest. If this is your edge, that's great. Otherwise, maybe your chin can land on the mat here. Feel that opening. Deep breath in, long breath out. One more round of breath here. Inhale deeply. Exhale. The bottom of the exhale, we start to slowly press ourselves back up, walking the hands back in tabletop. From tabletop position, we draw the left foot out by our side. Really plant that foot into the mat as we walk ourselves all the way up, finding that place where shoulders land over hips, moving into gate pose. The left hand lands on the left thigh. Reach over with that right arm. Find length through the side body. Can you ground evenly through the left foot and the right shin? We move move into an Ardha variation here. Cartwheel the hands down. Right hand's gonna land directly under the right shoulder. Left arm reaches towards the sky. From here, flexing through that left foot, maybe you lift that foot off of the mat. Otherwise, keep it where it is. Our next breath plants that left foot back on the mat. Exhale, cartwheel it over, gate pose. So we're finding length and strength through the side body, really opening up and strengthening through the obliques here. We take our next exhale, cartwheel those hands down one more time. Open up through the side body here, Ardha variation. As you're ready, lift the left leg. Keep that foot flexed. Exhale, plant the left foot down. We rise all the way back up. Arms come by our side. We walk forward back into tabletop. So find your pose here. Again, shake it out if you need to. We're gonna take the same thing other side. This time our right foot reaches out beside us, directly out from the hip. Find that length as you walk yourself up and back. Right arm reaches by our side, left arm to the sky. Find that length. And then from here, we drop that left palm. Reach the right arm up by your side. Find your long line of energy from right fingertips to left fingertips before exhaling to lift the right leg high. Again, keep the foot flexed, really active here. Our next breath sends the foot back to the mat with control. We rise all the way up, taking our next breath over to the right side. One more time, cartwheel those hands down, planting the left arm, reaching the right arm up. When you feel your length, lift. Our next breath drops the foot. Last time we lift. And then we send it over to the other side. How are we doing? Are we even on both sides here? We're gonna draw the hands down, moving into our tabletop once more.
Actually, I'm really uneven.
Really?
You can tell. Like, when I'm doing it on one side, it's like, it takes everything in me to like, not fall.
Yeah. You guys, this is what we talk about every day in class. Every side is different, every body is different, and that's okay. When you're ready from here, we're gonna walk the hands out about 6 inches. Keep the fingertips really active here, all 10 fingers spread wide. Press into that place between the index finger and the thumb as you tuck your toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet. Give yourself some time to really breathe here. Let the head hang heavy. Especially you might be really tight today, guilty. Me too. So really giving the calves and hamstrings a little extra love with every movement. On our next breath, we roll forward into plank pose. Pausing into plank to find that place where we can press down through the hands, a subtle rounding through the upper back. Draw the heels back behind the toes. On our next breath, we come forward high up onto the toes, and then we lower all the way down to the mat with control. From here, press into the palms, elbows to the sky. We lift baby cobra to start, gazes low. Exhale, tuck the toes, press into the hands, downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Deep exhale here. Look forward, walk forward. Moving into our forward fold. As we plant the feet here, bend into the knees, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Land in your Tadasana. Inhale here, sweep the arms up overhead. Reach the right palm to the sky, fingertips to the left hand. Take hold of that right wrist with the left hand and then send the stretch to the left. Really pressing evenly, right heel, left heel. Make sure that movement is coming from that place directly under the rib cage. Inhale to lift. We switch sides. Left palm plants on the ceiling. Take hold of that wrist with the right hand and guide it to your right. On our next breath, we send it back to the sky, clasping the hands behind the back here, rolling the shoulders back and down, heart is open. Exhale, forward fold. Shake the head no, shake the head yes. Let the head hang heavy here. Maybe practice pulling those hands away from the ears. And then plant the hands on the mat. We step back into our lunge. Right foot stays where it is, left leg reaches long behind. Moving into that place where both hips are shooting straight forward, spreading the mat between the legs. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Sink into your crescent lunge here, maybe drawing those thumbs back in space, gaze to the sky. Hands come to heart. We move into a twist, hinging forward from the hips here. Left elbow lands to the outside of right thigh. Give yourself some time to move really slowly through this. Let yourself be steady here. On your next inhale, we sweep ourselves back into crescent lunge. Taking the thumbs back a little further. And then on the exhale, hinging forward once more, framing the feet with the hands. We step it back, plank pose. Pausing in plank for 3 breaths. So again, take your time here. Each inhale, pressing down to lift. Each exhale, belly button to spine. Noticing we're really active through the legs. Are we breathing evenly? After your 3rd deep exhale, press into the hands. Send the hips straight back, downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet once more. And then from here, we're gonna take the lunge to the other side. This time, we're gonna take it through. So left foot lands between the hands from downward dog. Find that place again where you feel really stable. Where are your hips reaching forward evenly? Sweep the arms up overhead. Sinking in here maybe a little deeper. Are you pressing into big toe, pinky toe, center of your heel? Can you draw the thumbs back in space? Take your heart to the sky. Next breath, palm to heart. Hinge forward from the hips. Do it with grace. Give yourself time to find your balance. And then take the twist to the left. Pressing into each palm. Deep breath in. Our next exhale sends us back to center, reaching the arms up overhead. Sink deeper into your lunge. Before shooting the hips forward, planting the hands on the mat, stepping back, plank pose. This time we head straight to the mat, lower all the way down. Tuck the toes, roll the shoulders back and down, inhale, lift, maybe full extension of cobra. Exhale, send it low. Tuck the toes, lift the hips once more, downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet. As we look forward, we walk forward into a forward fold. And we draw the big toes together. So actually, if you're right at the top of your mat, I want you to walk back a few inches. We bring the big toes together, spread the toes out wide in your forward fold. Fingertips plant on the mat as we slowly lower all the way down to our knees. We're moving into toe stand. So this is a sensitive posture for many of us, which is why we have blocks here as props. If for any reason you need a block, or if you need a towel, a blanket, a stack of books, you can really use anything to prop yourself under your knees if you need a little more height. Otherwise, we're going to slowly start to drop the knees towards the mat. When we land here, shoulders land over hips. So again, this might be a lot of sensation through the feet. You might feel a lot of opening here. We give ourselves permission to sit in the discomfort. If you're having any type of twinging or electrical pain here, not a good idea. Again, let yourself lift up, plant a block or anything under your knees. Find a little more height. Otherwise, stay here, breathing deeply. We're going to be here for a few rounds of breath. The stretching out through the soles of the feet can actually bring up a lot of weird things. Beyond just physical sensation, we could be thinking about a lot of crazy stuff right now. You know, whenever we're in discomfort, where does our mind go? How can we distract ourselves? Can we stay present instead is the real question. Release tension from the face and the upper body. We're here for just 2 more deep breaths. After your second really long, deep exhale, we're going to slowly start to hinge forward from the hips once more. Plant the hands on the mat. Slowly untuck the toes as we sit back on the feet here. Give yourself some time.
It was so much for me.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Breathe.
A lot of gripping. It is not
no
great,
electrical
guys.
pain. No, it's just I'm tight.
Yeah. My toes are like weirdly long too, you guys, so it's not pretty.
Me too.
What about you?
That's why.
I know, right? Maybe it's our toes. We're gonna counter this stretch by just pressing down into the mat, lifting the knees, planting the tops of the feet here, maybe rocking side to side, using the core to lift us up as we just massage the throat of the ankles here. And then when you're ready, plant the knees back onto the mat. Our hands will walk forward in front of us. We'll step it back, moving into plank once more. From plank, we're moving a little bit more into the feet here. Draw the heels behind the toes. On exhale, come high up onto the toes. A nice calf stretch here. Inhale, send it back. It's a really subtle movement. Send it forward. Inhale, back. One last round, send it forward. And then press into the hands, lift the hips down, dog. It's a lot, right?
That felt good up in the toe stretch.
Good. When you're ready, lift the right leg high behind you. Really active through the toes, bend into the knee, open up that hip. So as we bend, we take our gaze under our right arm. Press back the hands a little further. And then exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, send it back. Lengthen a little longer. Exhale, knee to nose. One more round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to nose. We move into pigeon pose. So we land as if that shin was going to be parallel to the front of the mat. Right knee moves to the outer edge of the right wrist. The foot is flexed. We look back behind us. That left leg is long. Toes in line, not curled in or out. Option to stay lifted. First opportunity to really get into the hips here. Give yourself time to really enjoy it. Option to stay here or move on to forearms. Breathing deeply into the hips. If you want to take this even deeper, option to plant palms on top of one another, drawing your forehead to the hands. Otherwise, just stay here, breathing into the legs. One more deep breath wherever you are. On the next round, we walk ourselves back up. From here, we take a twist, tuck the back toes. Inhale, sweep that right arm back behind you. Option to lift the foot, take hold. Breathing deeply here, firing up that quad, really finding the stretch. On our next breath, we release. Plant the hands. Tuck the back toes once more. Lift the back knee. We step it back, plank pose. So we find that calf stretch in plank once more. Exhale, roll forward. Next breath sends us back. Our next breath, come high up on the toes. Send it back. Last round here. Moving forward and then back. Pressing into the hands, lifting the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg high behind you. Bend into that knee, open up the hip here. Take the gaze under the left shoulder. Already pressing evenly into both hands. Our next breath draws knee to nose. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, knee to nose, pigeon left side. So take your time moving into this. Find that place again where both hips can roll forward. The goal is that left knee to the outside of the left hand. Foot is flexed, almost as if the shin is going to be parallel to the front of the mat.
You can tell I'm not an athlete here because I'm so open.
I am like very not. So
that's like really tight. You know what I mean? So advantages and disadvantages. But then when I'm like core, I'm like crap. And athletes are like, yes, core.
Yes. My favorite. So that's another thing, right? Like yoga for athletes, if you're really tight in the hips and this feels like pure torture, that's okay, you're not alone. If this is enough for you, stay here. If you want to take a deeper fold forward, come onto the forearms. If you're moving forward here, we're moving straight forward from the heart. I don't want you to think about rounding through the upper back. If it's pure torture, you're here holding everything together. Stay up on the hands because the goal is that long spine, heart moving forward. If you want to take it even deeper, again, option to plant the palms, drop the forehead to the hands. Otherwise, stay here, breathing into the hips, releasing tension elsewhere to let go of any gripping you might be carrying in the upper body. On our next exhale, wherever we are, we're going to walk ourselves back up onto our hands. Option to stay here, tuck the back toes. Maybe you reach back with that left arm, taking hold of the opposite foot. If you did this on one side and it was really easy, and you notice the other side might be a little more difficult, that's okay. Again, everybody's different. Maybe it's much easier on this side. I gotta say, feels a little nicer on the left. On your next breath, drop that foot. Both hands come back to the front of your mat. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. We move into plank. We're not here long. Shake out through the legs, and then we move on to our forearms. So finding that nice forearm plank here, we find the place where hips are level. We find that place where the elbows are directly under the shoulders. And then we drop the knees, drop the shins, drop the hips, open up, Sphinx. So we're gonna move into dolphin. I know everyone's favorite. This is really helpful for opening up through the shoulders. Before we do though, we find that really good open sphinx. So press down through the forearms as if it were gonna draw your heart forward and your shoulders away from your ears. Make sure that the head isn't lifted. We're not super open through the throat. Chin's parallel to the floor. Press into the palms as if you're pulling yourself forward in space. Feel that activate the back here. Belly button moves to the spine. Option to stay here, or if you want to take the back bend deeper, open the hands out to the edge of the mat, keeping the elbows where they are. Press into the palms and lift for seal. If this is too much sensation in the low back, draw belly button to spine or stay in Sphinx. If you find you're up in seal pose and your ears are near your shoulders, press your palms to draw the shoulders away from the ears or move back into Sphinx. Our next breath sends the elbows straight down. Palms move back forward. We're back in our nice little back bend. Tuck the toes here. We lift the knees, moving back into our forearm plank. It's just a nice lifting straight to the sky. Find your length. And then start to walk the feet towards the hands. As you do, press into the palms as if you're drawing your heart towards your knees. So maybe bend the knees as much as you need to press into the hands, find that length through the back. Maybe you start to straighten the legs. Bend into the knees, press back. Lengthen the legs. One more round. Press into the palms, bend the knees, lengthen the legs, and then bend the knees slowly all the way to the mat. Tuck the toes, send it back, child's pose. Walk the hands behind you, top of hands on the mat, palms to the sky. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Walking back onto our bellies, a little more shoulder opening here. Take your time. Should feel really good, honestly. Walk the right arm out by your side, palm on the floor. That left hand's directly under the left shoulder, gaze to the left. Press into the left hand, roll over the right side of the body. Maybe the left foot comes behind the right leg. Feel that opening through the pecs, through the chest. On your next breath, come all the way back down. Left arm out by our side, right hand under the right shoulder, gaze over the right side of the body, roll over the left side. Maybe that right foot comes behind the left. We roll back onto the belly, propping ourselves back up onto our forearms once more. We have a very short round of core work here. I promise it's short. But core's my favorite, you guys. Press into those palms, find that Sphinx once more, tuck the toes, lift the hips, forearm plank. So from here, we're gonna open up a little through the hips as well. We send the knees to the outside of the elbow. On your exhale, right knee comes to right elbow. Send it back. Next breath, left foot, left side. Send it back. Few more rounds. The goal, staying low in your plank. Feeling the obliques. Feeling the strength of your core. Last round. And left. From here, drop the knees, tuck the toes, come all the way down. Shake it out. I love it.
Feels good after.
Right? Nothing too serious. We're gonna press into the hands. We sit it back into one brief child's pose. Again, shake side to side, whatever feels good in your body, really enlivening the spine today. And then roll back up. We're gonna find a comfortable, we're gonna find a seat on the mat. I say comfortable, that's not necessarily true. We're moving into fire log pose here. Again, nice opening through the hips. We're gonna start with the right leg on bottom. So we flex through that right foot and we draw the shin parallel to the front of the mat. From here, left foot active, we draw left ankle over right knee. So as you can tell, I'm pretty tight through the hips. This left knee isn't gonna land anywhere near that right ankle, and that's okay. The goal here is to lift up if you need to, so you can find that even seat, both sit bones rooted evenly on the mat. If this is way too much sensation, you have the option to take a block, a blanket, a pillow under the knee, filling in that space. Or if you want to walk the top foot out a little further, you have that option as well. Wherever you are, we pause and we find that place again, shoulders over hips, belly button to the spine. And then we're going to open up a little more through the upper body here so we can distract ourselves a little bit from the tightness in our hips. Inhale, reach the arms out by your side. A nice eagle arm variation here. Left arm's going to come under right. Option to either hug opposite arms if you're really tight through the shoulders, drawing backs of palms together or palms together. We frame the gaze with our hands. Again, belly buttons to the spine. Inhale, press into each palm, draw the hands to the sky, feel that opening through the shoulders. Exhale, draw the elbows to the ground. If you want to take this deeper, start to hinge forward from the hips. We move into a forward fold, bowing in that eagle pose. Find your edge. Breathe deeply. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release the arms. And then from here, flexing through that left foot, draw the left leg long in front. Right leg reaches long in front, maybe shaking it out, pressing down through those hip flexors. Hinging straight forward from the hips, we move into a forward fold. So again, we find that forward momentum first before we allow the head to bow. Inhale, walk it up. We're going to take the same thing other side. This time, left leg lands on the bottom, so shin parallel to the front of the mat. Once more, foot is flexed. We draw the right leg on top. Foot is flexed, ankle over that knee. And again, if you need to lift up to find that even rooting down of both sit bones, take your time. Much different. So wherever you are, again, is perfect. Give yourself some time here, settling into those hips. And then as you're ready, reach the arms out long. This time, right arm under left. Same thing, other side, either back of hands or palms together. We are in eagle arms. Inhale, press into the palms, draw the fingertips to the sky. Exhale, draw the elbows towards the ground. From here, maybe you bow forward. So find your edge. One more deep breath here. pausing for one last breath here. Wow. And then on your next exhale, we draw the legs long. One more time, a forward fold. This time we take it wide-legged. So as we open up the legs, find that width that works for you. Find your long spine. And as you're ready, it's a hinging from the hips. Straight forward. It's nice with these sticky mats because you can use a little bit of grip. If you're working with really trying to increase your, wide-legged stance in any capacity, working on lengthening those inner thighs. If at home you have like a strap you can wrap around a door handle or something you can hold on to slowly pull yourself forward, those type of exercises have been really helpful for me this quarantine season. So anything you can do to get a little more creative, find a little more length through the body. On your next breath, wherever you are, start to walk the hands back up. And we'll walk the legs in. Bending the knees, sending the heels close to the glutes. We roll all the way onto our backs. Keep a block close by, or a book. Or if you don't want a prop, you don't need it, but it's just going to help a little more because we are going to work a little more into the core before we really settle in. So before we do, we move into bridge pose, a nice opening through the heart. Press down through the heels. Glue the rib cage to the top of the hips, belly button in. Press into the palms, lift the hips high. Press into those big toes, make sure those knees are pointed forward. Toggle the arms under the body, clasp the hands. Lift the chest to the chin. On your next breath, very slowly lower all the way down. Maybe your hands are the last thing to move. Give yourself some space here just to notice the opening and the back bending without moving out of this. We're going to move into it one more time. If you want to take it higher, maybe you come up onto the toes. On your next breath, press into the feet, press into the upper arms, lift the hips high. Again, clasping the hands. You want to play around with it, maybe you lift one foot. Maybe you drop that foot. On your next breath, maybe you lift the other. Maybe you plant both feet. Again, maybe you come high up onto the toes. Or maybe you're playing with balance, maybe you want to lift all 10 toes. Get curious. On your next breath, lower all the way down. From here, we'll walk the soles of the feet to the outer edges of the mat, and we'll windshield wipe the legs side to side. One last twist before we really relax here. So feet come back in towards midline. This again is where you can grab a block. Anything if you want to really increase the intensity here if you're working on core work. Otherwise, it's not necessary.
Okay, so a block just
Just
a show.
We'll show variations. I like it. That's like no block. Okay, and these are hard too because these are heavy. They're corks. So if you have lighter ones at home, it's going to be a lot nicer to be fair. So no pressure. It's nice to show variation. Yeah. So it's been a long day, you guys. So wherever you are, If you're not using a block, we draw the knees together like they are one leg, really active through the feet. If we're using a block, we are squeezing into that block for dear life, firing up those inner thighs. As we do, press the low back into the mat, eliminating that lumbar curve, belly button into the spine. When you're ready, lift the legs. So the goal here is that lifting so that knees are directly over the hips. We're not drawing in further, and we're squeezing in. Feet are really active here. Breathe. So this might be enough sensation, right? This is a lot of activation. When you're ready, maybe you lift the arms up overhead. It's a nice dead bug variation. Squeeze the block if you got it. Squeeze the legs together, really active through the feet. And then from here we tee out the arms, plant the palms on the mat. Keeping the legs where we are, exhale, take it over to the right. When you feel your left shoulder start to lift, you found your edge. Squeeze into the block or the legs, come back to center. Breathe deep. Holding on to that block, our next breath sends us over to the left. When that right shoulder starts to lift, we found our edge, pause. Back to center. Again, squeezing the block, squeezing the legs together. Notice that those knees aren't moving forward from the hips. We send it to the other side. Draw it back to center. Take it slow. We take the other side. Squeezing the legs, squeezing the core. Come back to center. Pause. Relax the upper body if you're shaking right now like I am for no reason. Just notice where you're gripping. Are your shins parallel to the floor?
See, this is why I like to practice in a yoga studio. Like at home, I'd just be laying here watching and be like, oh, that's good.
One more deep breath here. Really plant the low back into the mat. And then drop the feet.
I love that you guys challenge me.
Oh, I love it too.
I love it.
Move that block, shake it side to side. And then from here, draw the soles of the feet together, draw the knees out wide. You can keep the hands where they are, out to the side if that feels good for you. Take a deep inhale, exhale out through the mouth. 2 more rounds, giving ourselves permission to settle, releasing any active energy. Inhale deeply. Exhale out through the mouth. Make it forceful. 1 last round. Deep inhale. And exhale. And then allow yourself to relax here. Subtly draw the chin lower than the forehead with the eyes closed, creating that length through the back of the neck and the spine. Palms to the sky. Feel that connectedness of the feet to one another. Just allow yourself to release any tension here. Finding a sense of gratitude for moving in ways that may have challenged us today. Or maybe you just felt really good. Finding that sense of gratitude for connecting with your yoga community, even if it's just virtually for now. Gratitude for all of the wonderful things center, planting the feet on the mat. And then maybe hugging the knees into the chest. Before rolling all the way back up to a comfortable seat on the mat. You can leave the eyes closed here if that works for you, if that feels good in your body. But even with the eyes closed, we find that long, straight spine. We find that easy pose. And then we draw the hands to heart center. Thank you all for practicing with me today. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you feel a little more relaxed and strengthened. And hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Namaste.
Namaste.